Hello everyone, my name is Bo and I'm here to talk about the draft. Yes, the draft. And we're going to talk about round 1 worst picks of the 2016 NFL draft. There were some really, really stupid picks in the first round that, it just makes you say, what? And I'm here to talk about them. So let's get to it. First, we're going to talk about Vernon Butler, picked up by the Carolina Panthers. Why is this a very bad pick? Well, you see, the Carolina Panthers already have a really good defensive line, preferably defensive tackle. They have Paul Silei, K'Wan Short, Star Lotulelei, Kyle Love, Chaz Alexi, and Eric Kroom. Why do you need Vernon Butler? Okay, you don't need half of those guys already, and you go ahead and get Vernon Butler when you could have picked up, someone decent. I mean, yeah, Vernon Butler is a very good player, but he's not that compared to K'Wan Short or Star, uh, that caliber. You don't need that many defensive tackles. That's just how I see it, and that's why I think he is one of the worst picks. But he is still very good. All right, on to the next player, drafted by the Falcons, Keanu Neal. Now, the Falcons really needed some pass rushers, and there were still a lot on there. Kevin Dodd, Emmanuel Ogba. There were all of these. Even Shaq Lawson was still available, and they went with a safety. Really, y'all already have a safety. It doesn't really make any sense to me. I mean, I guess I could see it since you're in a division with Drew Brees and Cam Newton and Jameis Winston that you need safeties, but I mean, you need a pass rush. It don't matter if you have a safety, you can't get to the quarterback because the quarterback doesn't have all day to throw. And that's why he's one of the worst picks. Next, we're moving on to Joey Bosa. Joey. Everyone thought he was going to be one of the top picks, and he was. He was number 3. And this was probably the worst thing that the Chargers could have done. The Chargers really needed to protect Phillip Rivers. They can't do that with they can't do that with Joey Bosa. You just can't. And third overall, it doesn't make any sense. You're in a division with the Broncos with Von Miller and all those other pass rushers, and then you have like a Khalil Mack on the Raiders and all their pass rushers, and then you have the Chiefs with Justin Houston and all their pass rushers. You're in a very you're in a division where you need to protect your quarterback. Okay, yeah, he's probably going to get you some sacks, and he's probably going to make some tackles, but he's not going to protect your quarterback, which is one of the most important things to do in the NFL this day and age. And that's why he is one of the worst picks. Now, I know this one. This one is going to get a lot of hell for, but Ezekiel Elliott is one of the worst picks. Ezekiel Elliott, yeah, I think he's good. He's a great running back. Well, with that offensive line down there in Dallas, man, you could put the worst running back behind them, and they would still rush for 1,000 yards. They have the best offensive line in the NFL today, maybe even of all time. Anyone can run behind that line. I mean, they could have done something. They could have picked up Jalen Ramsey, helped their defense. No, they wanted to go with Ezekiel Elliott. Yes, he's probably going to get a lot of yards. He's going to get a lot of yards because of that offensive line. But did you really need him that bad to pick him up at 4 overall? It just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. When you could have gotten, there were so many other stars out there. Hell, you could have even picked up Laramie Tunzel. Make it even a better offensive line. Like, I'm talking about, like, a better offensive line. No one would be able to sack the quarterback. Or you could run the ball whenever you want. Alright, so there are my 4 worst picks in the first round. But before I go, I want to talk about one more player. And this is probably the worst pick of all time. I have to mention this. He was not drafted in the first. He was drafted in the second round. But I have to put him in this one because it was such a bad pick. Yes, I'm talking about Roberto Aguayo, a kicker in the second round. Okay. He's a good kicker. But they didn't just draft a kicker in the second round. They traded up to get a kicker in the second round. That's ridiculous. No, I bet you no one was going to pick him up. You could have waited for your pick, but you wanted to trade away your like fourth round pick and a fifth round pick. I think is what they traded, and to get a kicker. Really, a kicker? It blows my mind. He has to be the worst pick ever. Not just now. He's not a bad player. It's just his placement and what they did to get him. It's just a terrible pick. Well, thank you guys for watching. This was the worst draft picks of the 2016 drafts of the first round.